Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with another Wednesday Banter episode sponsored by Gray Fox Games, our sponsors.
Woo.
Woo. How's it going?
Have you been snowboarding?
I have.
I think I was talking
almost a whole week ago now.
Over.
Wait. Are you sure he wasn't asking me, Adrian?
I mean, he looked at me, so the eye contact told me he was talking to me.
I was just talking with Ant about it yesterday after the Blood Bowl tournament, and he said he'd been up like 6 times or something already.
Oh wow,
maybe more.
Ant's a crazy person.
Yeah.
In a good way though.
Yes. Crazy about snowboarding.
Yes,
that's very true. Yes.
No, so I was gonna go up like 2 or 3 weeks ago when there was a bunch of like really good snow, but then I ended up working a bunch of overtime, which I then got tax fucked on, and so all that overtime I worked, like I was doing the math on it, and I was like, okay, I should make, this amount of money, and then I'll pay roughly, I think, this amount of taxes, so I should get this amount. Well, I got like, I don't know, 60% of what I expected to get, which was not enough for a new snowboard. So I was like, womp, 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 womp.
Do you actually need a new snowboard, or you just want a new snowboard?
I'm pretty close to needing a new snowboard.
I mean, I have one that's not in use very often.
Yeah, I might want to try. I might want to try yours because I've ridden it before because it was Ants.
Yeah,
the Attack Banana.
Yes.
If we get a really good dumper snowstorm, I might want to borrow it and try it on the powder.
Yeah. Because
one of the reasons I want a new board is my board last year in all the crazy snow we got in the spring sucked in the powder.
Huh.
And I'm taking a 2-week trip to Japan to ride deep Japanese powder.
Yeah.
So I want a board that rides powder nice.
And you have a Burton snowboard.
Yes,
and
I have a Burton.
Mine is a
LibTech. Yes. So and then mine's just also getting beat up. I started going pretty hard in the trees last season with Megan because I rode with Megan more last season than I'd ever ridden with her, and she loves the trees. I'm not good in the trees, so I hit a lot of trees, and so the front tips of my board are starting to get a little dinged up.
Yeah. The only ding in this one is one Ant did the first and only time he went to a park and like hit the end of a rail with the bottom of his board and just gouged out like a quarter-sized chunk on the bottom.
Yeah.
He repaired it, but he was like, and never again.
But yeah, and then mine, I did notice, because I did go snowboarding. I went snowboarding on Tuesday. Megan and I just went out for a quick day trip.
You're in on the condo.
Yep, we're in on the condo.
Murder Pier still?
Yep, still Murder Pier. We're still at the pier. And so
that is the Dillon Reservoir for everyone not in the know.
Right. It's like has a great view overlooking the water. It's fantastic.
Yes.
And it's a reasonable distance to the hot tub. You don't have to go through a lot of
reasonable.
cold or snow to get to the hot tub.
It's like as close to the hot tub as you can get, actually, without being first floor.
Yes. But so we went up there to ride. It was just a normal day. There was no special snow or anything. We just wanted to get up there and ride, and then to drop a bunch of stuff off at the condo.
Yep.
So we went up and we rode, and it was a good day. We crushed it pretty hard for only having like 4 runs open. They've got more than that. I think they have like 10 runs open. But
they're like 5% open?
Yeah, not a whole lot, but a fair amount of stuff. Enough that we were able to have some fun. They rerouted Schoolmarm, at least in the early this year. It runs a slightly different path, which was kind of interesting, being like, oh, this is different. But I did notice that my snowboard, in addition to the,
correction, 7% open.
7%.
So much more room for activities.
Yeah. But in addition to like the cosmetic damage and the not liking it in powder, there were a couple spots where it was steep, and I'd go to carve on my heel, and the back edge of my snowboard was just like,
no,
I know you want me to hold on right now, but I'm not gonna, and you're gonna fall on your ass and slide 30 feet down the hill.
Hooray.
And then I'd have to like push myself back up, which I felt like Wednesday and Thursday, like the push from behind to stand up motion, I felt very much in my arms and shoulders.
There's nothing like just getting a constant spray of snow right in your face.
Yeah. Which also would happen when that.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was nice to be back out on the snow. It was pretty good conditions for being just kind of a bright day. We haven't had any snow for like 2 or 3 weeks. There's still snow making up there, but apparently there was some weird high pressure system out west of us that was keeping moist air from getting to us. And so it was just sitting there. It was like a weird stalled weather pattern where all the meteorologists were like, it's still there, so nothing's changing.
This week, though.
Yeah. Now it's going to start kicking in. Yeah. It's been fading out. So that was awesome. Good to be back out on the mountain. I definitely still want a board. And I think, oh man, I'm close. I've been trying to do the math. I'm on budget for Japan. Like I'm putting away a certain amount each week, and like I'm on budget to have $3,000 to go to Japan, which is good because our lodging costs are already about $1,000. And so I'll give us $2,000 to spend over 14 days, which we still have to buy like train tickets and things like that while we're there and food. And I'm going to go spend like $100 for an all-you-can-eat Wagyu beef experience.
Yeah.
That's going to be heavenly. So
get ready to just ruin yourself on all other meat.
Yeah, I'll never be able to eat steak again, which will be fine. I need to eat less red meat anyway.
It's better for the environment anyway.
Exactly. So
God, what was I watching that was like a main it was one of the new South Park episodes. I caught up on this season after the whole China thing episode, and there was a whole episode about meat alternatives, and Cartman kept having heart attacks every time they tried to switch out meat or his processed garbage, but they found a new processed garbage. It was just goo, they called it. But then there was a very oil baron figure. He was a goo man.
I'm a goo man.
Yes.
Okay.
He was very Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay. There will be blood.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. But yeah, I'm hoping I can save up just enough just to wrap this little bit up, put a bow on it. I think I might have enough extra left over if I skimp and don't like splurge on anything for the next 2 months. I might have enough to buy a new board right before the trip, which would be great.
How very Tony of you.
Yep. I even did the finger.
Yes. The latest South Park episode was hilarious. It's basically Macho Man comes in. It's gotten a lot of flack for reasons, but it was also the episode that they had full on fucking board games in.
Yeah.
Like
holy
shit.
Yeah.
They dropped all the names of board games that really probably the majority have no fucking clue what they're talking about. But I was like, oh yeah, Nemesis. Oh yeah, you said Uva wrong in Rosenberg.
Yeah.
And like they were playing Rising Sun and D&D, and they had their own little, it was like the girls club, or it was like the boys club, and they didn't want any girls, but the girls were like way better than them at board games. So he went to the Senate to make it like illegal to have a boys and girls board game club. Except theirs is way better, but they had to get kicked out because it's not supposed to be combined anymore.
Okay.
Segregation of the board game clubs. But the B plot was basically Macho Man Randy Savage was PC vice principal PC principal's wife, who was the vice principal, hit her ex-boyfriend. But he's literally just Macho Man. But there's this whole trans like issue throughout the whole thing. But the Macho Man they did was fucking hilarious. It was just constantly the peak Macho Man where he's just struggling to say everything like this, and it was fucking hilarious. But he identified as a woman and beat everyone at all the sports, and so that was kind of the B plot that people are having a problem with.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've seen all the stuff about the board games, and it's made me be like, oh yeah, I haven't watched South Park in a while. Maybe I should catch up on South Park.
They've been dropping hints this season, like in the China episode on like a back shelf, Stan had like Dune and Rising Sun.
They've had board game stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
Like there was an episode a long time ago where Stan was playing like Dead of Winter with his grandpa.
Yep.
And I guess they recently played Trey and Matt, the creators, actually played games with Tom Vassell.
Yeah.
Which is why like they've really stepped up their board game.
Well, and apparently
reps.
Randy did like a morning show about weed, and it very much ripped off the board game
breakfast.
Yeah, board game breakfast.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen, so I would not get the reference.
Yeah, I haven't actually checked out Board Game Breakfast. I know they have the start of it. They pour a bunch of milk onto board game components. Like they have like a bowl of wooden, like a bowl full of like wooden meatballs.
Well, in this, it was a bowl full of weed.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
So, right on.
Macho Man was funny. That's what I'm saying.
Anything to update for you, Zach, or anything else, Jeff, besides South Park updates?
Yeah. I guess we can get into board game related things as the next step.
Well, did you have something?
I had
in
a
life?
couple non-board game things.
Fine.
Real quick. Yeah.
Fine.
Well, to be fair, he did ask me, and then he's like, "No, let's just focus back on
Well,
Jeff
I said
again."
or Jeff because I wasn't sure if Jeff was out. Because I realized I was like, oh, I only let Jeff talk about South Park. Maybe he actually has real life things.
Death Stranding is weird, but I'm enjoying it.
Nice. That's what I've heard.
You
haven't got to the end, so you're still enjoying it.
Yeah. I feel it's still like, I've played it for a couple hours, but it feels like it's still tutorializing me where I want to get to the good shit.
Yeah.
But I've heard the good shit takes forever, but the good shit is all like the player interaction stuff where people are building fucking highways.
Yeah.
And like where you actually interact with the weird online stuff of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that part. I've done like the first 2 major connections at this point, but I feel like I still haven't gotten to the game yet. I can't throw grenades full of my poop at weird ghost enemies yet.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that's coming.
All my bodily fluids are a weapon.
Haunting.
That's the game.
Yeah.
And I started the new Star Wars game.
Yes.
Played it for like an hour. Got to the first planet. It's it's fine so far.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, then I'll just tag onto that since I've played it for about 6 or so hours today instead of doing literally anything else. I was like, oh, I should buy this. And then I played it at like 11. And then I was like, well, this is going to be happening until we go to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a combination. It's like, it is a little bit more explorer-y than I was expecting.
A little more open.
Yeah.
And you have different paths you can take. And it's a little Metroidvania-like where you can go between planets and unlock something that you didn't have the power to do before.
Yep. And then also little hints of like Dark Souls-esque things.
Like Bonfire where you have to rest, but if you rest there, all the enemies respawn.
And if you die, you lose your XP and shit like that.
Until you go back and hit the enemy that killed you.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to kill it.
You don't have to kill it.
Or it's not just an item sitting on the ground that you pick up.
Yeah.
Which, what it's usually like in the Souls likes.
Oh yeah. But I mean, combat's been enjoyable as you get more force powers. It's great. Like I'm one of
I also saw the chat.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mike Jones had commented, I wonder if there's anybody whose first interaction with Mile High Game Guys will be all my bodily fluids are weapons.
One can only hope.
Weaponized.
Nice. Yeah.
My weaponized shower water.
Yeah.
There's an episode title for you.
Yeah, right. But like I said, I was getting more force powers. Like there's these giant like spinning blades that like you can stop them to actually like go through
forced
them.
Pause or
forced
whatever.
Pause.
Yeah.
But once you get like force push, if there's an enemy near the spinning blade, you can just push them into the fan and it just chops them up and kills them. And I was like, totally did by accident. And I was like, that was great.
There's no dismemberment for human enemies.
No.
But there is for animals.
Yes.
Okay.
Androids.
Yes. But all the melee enemies are scout troopers, and all the ranged enemies are your usual stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird.
That is a
little
weird.
It's like if you're in scout armor, you better have a fucking vibro bayonet or whatever to stop this lightsaber.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like I'm enjoying it more than I did Force Unleashed. Was that the
Yeah, that was the like Vader's.
Yeah. That one was like
Apprentice
super
clone
combat
one.
heavy.
Yeah.
And it was like
I never played them.
Yeah, they were enjoyable, but I'm liking the exploration and figuring out all the shit that's going around here. And like you said, we're like, oh, why can't I open that? And like there has been some puzzles and shit like that, but it's been enjoyable. I've liked it so far.
Yeah, it's apparently very good. Consoles are underpowered for the game. There's a lot of frame drops, a lot of technical issues. PC seems to be the place to go to play it. But hopefully in a couple patches, they'll smooth out that performance. It's getting hit real hard on review. Well, hard. It's sitting in like the mid 80s.
That seems about right. Yeah.
But like the PC is in like the 90s or above because it doesn't have those technical issues.
Yeah.
I was watching that Disney Plus Mandalorian TV show. We got good We got good TV and good video games in the Star War.
Yeah, we do.
Mandalorian is good.
It is 2 episodes so far.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Or
Short
so,
episodes.
Yeah, which is surprising.
That
But
is a
I'm
little bit
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I'm just used to like all of those Netflix shows and being like hour-long episodes.
No, they're doing a great job with
Is it-
showing, not telling, which I think has been going really well.
Yeah. Is it Captain Kirk? Is he the Mandalorian?
No.
Chris Pine? Who's the voice of the Mandalorian?
Oh, that's Pedro Pascal. What's that? Oh,
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Who is he?
He was
Oberyn Martell
Yes.
in Game of Thrones.
Okay,
Yeah.
he sounds exactly like Chris Pine. I was just like, is that Chris Pine? I
Yeah.
just didn't think about it because I
No.
was like, oh, that's Chris Pine.
and, I mean, and from what I've heard, a vast majority of it is he's like actually in the suit and stuff like that.
I would hope
But,
so.
Yeah.
That they don't just get some schmo to be the guy in
Yeah.
the suit.
Yeah.
And there's been some reviewers that are just basically complaining that he's just always wearing his helmet. And you're
He's
like,
a
you can't-
fucking Mandalorian.
Well, not just that too, but like you can't connect with him emotionally, and it's like they did great jobs of like when you can easily tell when he's like pissed off, annoyed,
Mhm.
like satisfied, any of that shit just by like the body language and the tone and like how the camera's positioned. So I think
Or his disintegrations.
yes, oh great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's way more violent than
Yes.
I thought it would be.
There's only been one scene so far that I was like, I didn't. It felt a little not kiddie, but just a little out
Like-
different tone.
Like a little lighter than it should have been, maybe for the
Yeah.
tone or something.
Yeah, and it was in the first episode, but everything else has been great. Taika Waititi was a IG droid.
IG-11, not
Yeah.
IG-88.
No.
IG-88 is the
Yeah.
one from Empire.
Yeah, but he's basically a bounty hunter droid, and
It was funny.
it was funny. And when it fought like you would expect it to fight.
A droid that is made to kill people.
Yes.
Like 360 vision, able
Yeah.
to turn his body around and just
Yeah,
Okay.
murder.
yeah, a lot
He's a
of
murder robot.
He's a murder robot.
So
Also, at the like, you drop a dime, and he's like, "All right, gonna turn on my self destruct."
Yep. All right, we're outnumbered. Gonna self-destruct now. No,
Just hold on a second.
we're pinned down. I'm gonna start myself to stop doing the self-destruct.
so one
And I don't want to give away the hook for
No.
people that have not
Yeah.
watched
Yes.
it yet. But The Mandalorian is good.
Yes.
one criticism I had heard for the first episode was that it seemed like they were throwing a lot of like, aliens and stuff all over in the background to be like, this is Star Wars.
Yeah, but
And then it
it's-
kind of took away from the Western theme. Did that kind of die down?
Do you remember those cantina scenes from all of the fucking Star
Oh,
Wars
yeah,
movies?
yeah.
It's just one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, very much. Just like, hey, I've gone to a bar in a Star War.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a bunch of aliens around. Remember those movies where there was a bunch of aliens around?
Yeah.
But they're not like highlighting the aliens or anything
No.
like that.
Oh, okay.
It was definitely more of a character introduction of like, this fucker means business.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm going to have to start pirating it when there are a few more episodes.
Yeah, it is a weekly thing, so you
Yep.
can't just get your 1 month.
I mean, you can also just
Wait
wait,
until-
and then do the 1 week free trial too,
And then watch
just
it all in
binge
that
it.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I pirate it, then I have it forever. And not just for the week that I have the trial.
When was the last time I went back and watched something?
I rewatch things all the time.
Yeah, not it.
So, especially if it's good. But yeah.
Watchmen's
don't know.
tonight too.
It's
Let's wrap this
Watchmen's
shit
been-
up.
Yeah, Watchmen's been
Well,
real
I mean,
good.
we
got a
got
little bit
to
of
wait
time.
for Watchmen to end, and then we can go.
Still need to watch that, and
Yeah.
so many other HBO things. It's annoying.
All right, but yeah, let's move on to some board games.
Yes.
Because this is
Okay.
going to be a long episode as it is, and we do have some Watchmen to get to in like 40 minutes. So, wrap it up. So, Jeff, you were about to lead off with some board game stuff. So, why don't you lead off? No, never mind. I almost forgot, but I remembered.
Good job.
We're going to start doing what we've been playing and lead it off with what we've been streaming. And this last week, we did only one stream. It was our Friday stream. And we streamed a 3-player game of Legendary Encounters Alien.
Mm-hmm.
We did Alien 3 and then immediately followed it up with Alien Resurrection
Yes.
for the
Yep.
2 campaigns because we
were
set it
worried
up beforehand.
We
that
were worried
like,
it was going to be too easy, and we were just going to punch through them. And we just didn't want to have like a really short, like 25-minute stream where we just
Right.
crush the game.
Yeah, so just assume that's what happened when you're watching it.
Yeah.
You're just going to watch us wreck face.
Yeah, because we've heard that like with fewer people, it gets way easier. Like this was the first time I've played with less than 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed, like, the more people you have, the harder it is. Like, those kinds of, advancing enemy games can
So much
be.
that they added in an extra round in 5 players, so you can actually buy stuff before
you play
it
a
gets
whole
real
round
rough.
before the aliens start moving.
Yep.
So we did that stream, and you can just, as you watch the stream, assume that we're going to crush face and win, and then that way you'll be as let down as we were. We managed to go 0-2 in the streams.
We got to the 3rd objective in Alien 3. I got crushed.
Yeah, Jeff
by,
died real hard.
Like the please help card or whatever.
Yep.
Where it's like 4 damage unless someone has like a red icon in their hand, basically, which no one did.
No,
So-
no one had it when I got it either, but Zach
yeah.
was able to heal it from me later. I was at 1 health for like 80% of that game, and I just barely stayed alive the
Yeah.
longest.
And I got all the the contaminated wounds that
Yes,
couldn't
you
be
did.
healed. So I
Yeah.
had 4 wounds on me, but only 1 of which could be healed.
Yeah.
And then I took 4 damage, and that was it.
Yeah. But
Mostly because I had 2 rounds of just like, oh, here are all my garbage cards, and the rest of my deck was all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So I had like 2 rounds of doing nothing, basically.
which sucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, we got beat bad.
Not in the first one. We were doing okay.
No, we were doing okay.
We were barely surviving. The second one, though.
The second one was never close.
Yeah, we got to the 3rd objective in
Alien
the
3.
Alien 3. We never saw the boss enemy that we had to kill,
No.
The beast.
the beast. And then we set up Resurrection and lost extremely hard.
Yeah, we didn't finish the first objective
No, we finished the first one. We
Did
didn't
we?
finish the second one.
because I thought we killed 2 of the 3.
No, we
killed
killed
the
them.
3rd one.
Yeah, we
Okay.
killed them.
Yeah, we got to the second objective.
Okay.
Because we found a bunch of the containment cells pretty
Yeah.
fast.
Yes.
Yeah, the
But
first 2 cards were containment cells. It was great. It was like, sweet, we're off to a good start.
But I think we made a mistake of using them instead of buying something while we still had time before the clone alien
Yeah.
jumped into the combat area.
I feel like at least one of them we waited till it was in the
Because we
combat
didn't
area.
have a 3rd containment cell for that one yet.
Well, no, that was even one of the other 2. We waited, and like the turn it moved in was like, okay, no, I'm going to pay to get rid of
Yeah.
it so it doesn't hurt me.
But we basically ended up with no cards because we were spending it all on other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just not getting the right cards.
I think we just weren't getting the right cards because
Or all the really expensive stuff, as is tradition.
the
is what
containment cells
happens.
cost 9
Yeah.
on 3 times.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like it was a huge amount of money we were spending on those that we weren't spending on other cards. So I think we just got hosed.
Yeah, I think I bought 1 card before I died.
Seems about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
I also played it at game night on Wednesday, so that's kind of why it was fresh in my mind.
You
to
played it
recommend.
wrong on Wednesday.
Yeah, we played one major thing wrong and then one
that wa-
other thing.
The
wrong.
major thing was only having 5 cards
Yeah, we're
instead
playing
of
with 5
6.
cards instead of 6.
That
Which
is
is pretty bad.
That's a pretty bad way to play that game wrong.
Yeah, so that we got crushed in that one too. I'm 0-3 this week on Alien, Legendary Encounters Alien.
Gotcha.
So yeah, got smoked there too, playing with one less. And then there was some other rule that we were playing wrong that was a rule that we were playing wrong that was helping us. But I don't remember what it was. So I'm not worried about it.
We may never know.
But it was fun
You
to
still
play
lost.
there.
That's what counts.
Yeah, we still lost. That one we did Alien because I was teaching 4 new players and they were all at least like, I've heard of Alien. I know the vague plot of Alien. It's like, all right, we'll play that one then.
Yeah.
Remember all these grunts with
That's-
plasma
that's
rifles?
aliens.
I know.
Oh.
But you still have the same starter
Oh,
deck.
yes.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
true.
of
You have all these
support.
grunts and specialists, and all these aliens appear in the first Alien where there's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Legendary Encounter Alien, real good.
Yep.
I also played Root. At game night, we did a 4-player game. Megan is now 2-0 in Root with 2 different factions. She had won a little while back as the Woodland Alliance, and she didn't really like it. She didn't feel like she really understood what they were doing, but she still managed to like crush our face. And then in this game, she was the Erie Dynasties and Erie Dynasties, and she again rolled us, like beat us real bad. And it was even like the last 3 or 4 rounds, we were like, we've got to make her turmoil or we're gonna be screwed.
Uh-huh.
And we still couldn't hardly do it. We played with the updated boards and from the new Kickstarter. Like, so they've updated the player boards, like new rules for the factions. They've tweaked all their rules. And so the boards we were playing with had like printed out and then like taped onto them the new updated spots.
Okay.
That just kind of tweak all of them.
But the actual Kickstarter isn't out yet.
No,
right?
it hasn't delivered yet. It was kind of like a print and play with the original version of the game.
Gotcha.
But Lizards still really fucking hard. They got major boosts, and they're still not quite there. It's the best I've ever done with them, and I came in second, but I was still 15 points behind Megan. So
great.
Yeah, that was good. Other than that, just been playing a lot of Mystic Vale on my app at work, which has been nice. It's fun. I win most of the time. I'm slowly tweaking the difficulty up as I continue to win. I'm like, all right, got to bump the difficulty a little bit more. But it's good. I like it. It's a good app.
Yeah.
If you like Mystic Vale, go check it out. That's it for me. Jeff, what about you? What's your board game stuff?
I only got a chance to play one board game at game night, which was from Captain America himself. Judge Dredd, Helter Skelter.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
It was fun. There's 4 different factions. There's like the judges and then some criminal gangs of some sort. It all uses the comic art, which is some of my favorite. It's very, I don't know, you have a hand of 7 cards and you have a board with like 38, 40 spots on there or so. And your objective is to get 5 points. There are 5 like reality fragments on the board. And then there's your 5 enemies. And you have to get some combination of 5 between those. You can kill the enemy, and then you get their mini as like a point. Or you can spend 3 of the same icon. You have 5 characters. Each character has their own special icon.
Yeah.
3 of a kind. You can pick up a piece of shattered reality or whatever the hell it's called. The setup is interesting because you get a hand of 10 cards. You get to say where you deploy. And on the map, there's areas that are like covered and there's walls and whatever. So your 5 spawn points are 5 of the cards. And then the other 5 cards, which all relate to numbers that are on the board, are where your enemies' fragments of reality will start.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So you know where their objectives are and you know where you're going to start. And you reveal, like, no one starts on the board though. And as an action, you can reveal a character for free. And then the more you want to do, you have to spend cards. You start with a hand of 7, but you can only draw 3 at the end of any round. So you can blow your whole hand, but the next couple rounds, you're not going to have as many options.
Right.
And then on each card are the 5 different symbols, but they will be either highlighted or highlighted with specific actions or defensive actions or interrupts. So you're sort of just playing these cards to move the character, shoot other characters, blast other characters, use melee, or use them as counters to your opponent's cards. Because there's take cover and then deflect, but you can only use like deflect if you're in one of those cover spots. It plays really quick though, like 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's super fast. I'm sure there's a ton of really deep strategy there. We were just kind of having fun, like you can use the interrupt cards in between someone's round and to be like, I play this interrupt card, now I can do some actions because you've moved out of your cover spot. Now I'm going to shoot you or something like that.
Okay.
But they can always play another like deflect card. Like, well, I still have my other deflect card, and you kind of go back and forth. Each faction has different like priorities of certain things. Like some are more melee focused, and there is a nice card that shows like the breakdown of every action that every card has. So, you know, like the judges have a lot of shooting cards, but one specific character. Do you remember the movie with Sylvester Stallone?
Yes, almost by heart.
You know the part where they're out in the wasteland?
Yep.
And then there's that guy that has like the anger meter on his head and he's part mech or whatever. That's one of the characters.
Oh, cool.
He's like mean something, but all of his are just melee actions.
Yeah, okay.
But he has the really big melee actions that are hard to defend against. So I smashed a couple of his characters real good with those.
Okay.
Yeah, like 30 minutes. It was fun. I would like to play it again. Doesn't take up a lot of space. Just kind of like a quick, easy.
2-player?
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
You can have all 4 factions in there. Double-sided board that has it's the Hall of Justice that's like under attack and like ruins. And then there's like the other side is like clearly like super high up on a building. There's like catwalks in between and stuff.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It has a couple rules in there we didn't really get around to of like elevation that reminded me of that Batman Crime Chronicles game.
Gotham City Chronicles?
Yeah, where you have to like be up higher.
Okay.
And then you can get cover or advantage on certain spots with that.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah. Judge Dredd, Helter Skelter.
Cool.
It was fun. First Judge Dredd game I've played that they've been releasing a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one seemed, not bad.
Awesome. Well, that's good.
And he had everything nice and sleeved. It was pleasant to play.
Way to go, Captain America.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else?
That was pretty much it, besides a Blood Bowl tournament.
Yeah. Sure. We'll come back to.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, Zach, what about you? Bring us home.
Well, I got a couple. The first one is on Monday. I played another scenario of Mansions of Madness.
With the new expansion.
Yeah, the Path of the Serpent.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm free on Mondays, I don't think I was this Monday, but
No. I just assume that it's always that one. It's always just, I'm sure Adrian has some weird thing where he's not free. So, so we did the first scenario, which is the easiest one. It was the 3 out of 5 difficulty. Forgetting what it was off the top of my head, but basically you have these, you're at this dude's house, and then all of a sudden just like jungle just appears everywhere.
okay. Very Jumanji-esque.
yeah, right. And so this one used a lot of the new terrain type in this one. So, like in the Horrific Journeys or something, like it added water or portals and shit like that. This one added overgrowth and rubble. And so rubble, you can't like search for anything or interact with anything or explore anything until you clear the rubble out. And so you have to destroy it with like heavy weapons and stuff like that. And then there's overgrowth, which
luggage.
Yeah, pretty much. We used a fire extinguisher to just sort of hit everything.
That classic jungle tool.
Yeah.
Creatures of the jungle have no defense against fire extinguishers.
It's true. Because you think you light fire in the jungle, you've won, game over. No, I can extinguish that shit, and then just spray it right in your face.
Yeah.
And then overgrowth. Basically, if you aren't agile enough, you'll start dropping items unless you cut it with blades. So,
Okay.
This one we basically just had to go around and collect 4 different little figurines and then put them back in a statue in the correct order.
Okay.
And we could. I now see why the majority of the ones I play are like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 difficulty, because this one was real easy. like
what was the difficulty on this one?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah. So, like the main gimmick with mansions is that like time is obviously not on your side, and so like there'll always be things that are like, hey, should we go look at that? And you're like, I mean, I want to, because you want to look at everything, but we only have a certain amount of actions and time before shit starts going south, and there's a lot of wasted stuff. This one, basically, whenever like you go to a new room, it would be like, oh, here's this thing over here, here's a book over here, here's this thing over here, here's this thing over here that has a jade glint to it, and you're like, okay, well, that's probably the thing we need to look at. We look at it. Oh, look, it's that serpent thing. Let's just grab it. And then you have to talk to the person that found it and be like, so what order should it be in? And then they'd be like, oh, it's not last, or it was either first or second or whatever, shit like that, right?
Right.
And so once we found all of it, we circled around and, put them all in and then ended the scenario. There wasn't any. I don't know if there was like a time limit that we had to put it in before shit really started going bad.
Was there like monsters? Or?
There were a couple. There were a lot of snake people.
Okay.
And then we got poisoned a couple times,
That's a new thing?
Yeah, it's it's basically you take damage and then you...
Is it like a card that you have to flip? Okay.
Yeah, you take damage and then you flip it over and then you do whatever it says usually. Like if you can put the... what is it called? What things for venom? Not anti-venom or antidote or whatever that it ended up being.
Antidote and Antivenom are like the two main things.
Yes, whatever. I know it wasn't Antivenom, but
The Cure?
Sure, we'll say The Cure. And so, like, but then if you didn't fail, then he just took another damage. But like, I was wounded at the end, but we weren't in any danger at all. So it was fun, but I'm looking forward to the two harder ones.
Okay.
We actually have to like go into the Temple of the Egg and stuff like that. So
Cool.
yeah. And then last thing is I played another game of Cartographers, and that was it wasn't the worst game of Cartographers. It was, but I only mean that in the sense of we had one person who just could not, for the life of him, understand the card. He had 6 different interpretations of what one of these scoring cards was.
Was it the one with the diagonals?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So this one, the scoring was basically
Okay.
on the card. It says you for every complete diagonal row that goes from the left side of the board to the bottom side of the board, you get 3 points or however much it was.
Okay.
And so that even means like the bottom
corner,
you just fill in that one, you've got it. So if you put like an L piece, you've got 6 points right there. He thought it was just any diagonal, and then also you got points for each amount in that diagonal. And and I can't even remember, like, he misinterpreted it 6 different times. It was ridiculous just how much he kept. And then he ended up getting last, but it wasn't super far behind. But it was just like, I was just like, because it was me, Kaiser, and then Matt. And me and Kaiser were just like, Jesus, Matt, you fucked it up again.
Of all the people to keep fucking up like that, it's good that it's Matt.
Yes.
Because I feel like he could at least take the Jesus, Matt, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it was one of the, quote unquote, more complicated ones of like trying to interpret exactly what it says. Cause the bad side of the rule book is like, it goes like, it explains the card in the sense that it just rereads what's on the card.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah, that was one of my complaints with the game.
Yeah.
But cool.
But yeah. But outside of that, yeah.
I want to play more Cartographers. I
still
dug
not
it.
played with the skill expansion yet.
Yeah.
As much as I hate seeing role player anywhere near a game, I Cartographers is good.
Yeah.
With my one play. I mean, I might hate it after 2 or 3, but
like I said, I feel like you might end up liking it just because of how different each one feels, because of the
objective cards.
The objective cards, the order they come out with, like, even if it's the same 4, if it comes out in a different order, your mat's going to look completely different. So,
did you guys ever draw more than one monster?
No, we only had one the entire time
instead of
the
4 that you can.
Yeah, no, but this one was one of the most restrictive ones. Like, it had one of the most restrictive scorecards. It was you got 3 points for every farm and water that wasn't touching the opposite. And so the farm wasn't touching water.
And water that wasn't touching farm.
And it wasn't touching the board.
The border?
The border, sorry.
Okay, I was like, how does it not touch the board?
No, sorry. The border of your
3D
board.
Cartographers now?
I mean, now we are, yes, obviously. No. We're just using the Team 3 things, and it's just sort of
great.
Second. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. No, but, and the problem was we kept getting water and farmland in the cards that kept coming up. And so, like, in the beginning, and the main thing is that it was a final score. So it was like, I think it was card A. So it came up first, and we're like, great. And then it came up at the end. And so every time we kept having to add it, we kept trying to find ways to not have it touch the border or additional water or both. Because then, like,
Yeah.
And it was getting really, really constrictive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that wraps up everything we've been playing.
Did you want to talk about Mechs versus Minions?
Oh, we played Mechs versus Minions.
Okay.
It was a race that we had to go from one, it was a 1x4 board that we'd go from one side to the other. And we barely was able to do it. It added a new damage.
Okay.
In this one, which is called a quantum explosion that he took, that basically you roll a die, and on a 1 to 3 or a 4 to 6, you swap places and facing with your player to your left, your player to your right.
So you swap no matter what.
Yes. So if I'm all the way up through it, and then you're still near the back, and then this is one card that comes through just don't take damage, and then you're fine, Adrian.
I'm so glad I stopped playing this game after the first time I played it.
I think it ended up saving us, which was
Really?
great because there was a lava wall that was just approaching, and if any of us ever touched it, we would lose. And so there was one person that was sort of straggling behind, and they got moved up closer to the finish line because of the quantum explosion, and the other person was able to then move out of the way of the lava wall. So
Okay.
2 scenarios left, I believe. So
Right on.
yeah,
The board and components still look real good.
Mhm.
The gameplay
Yeah.
still is like, no,
it's
I'm
not for you.
good.
It's not for you,
It is
Adrian.
not at all for me, and I am okay with that. So, well, that pretty much wraps up all of the games we've been playing, which brings us over to it's called a bloody 3 minutes. 2 minutes, because you did 2 games. There were
And then
3 games played.
And then Zach has one.
I played.
Yeah.
Mine will be quick though, and mine will go first since I'm the one that started.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So we had the Stuffing Bowl
Yep.
this Saturday.
Yes.
The 4th tournament of the year. So the next one will be in February. That'll start the new year of Blood Bowl tournaments. We handed out a trophy for the first time for the tournament scoring. We always hand out trophies for first, second, most casualties, but this one had an overall who did the best on the tournaments for the year.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the Cairn Stone. Cairn Stone. It's an acronym that I don't know what it means.
How was it spelled?
CAIRN.
Oh, so they used the actual word Cairn.
Yes,
It's
but it
just
is an
also
acronym.
Okay.
Yeah, for something.
Cool.
Zach, how'd your first game go?
Uh,
Because this is what
so-
we do now.
So you guys played the same team.
Yes. Team
Well,
Zaff
So I've always been the odd man out,
Right.
and now that Jeff
is doing school
is
on
doing schools.
Saturday mornings,
when that usually is, he can't play.
the
Okay.
first round.
And the thought of me only having to play 1 game of Blood Bowl versus 3 was very appealing to me. And it gave Jeff a chance to play when he otherwise couldn't have.
You should have opened your beer during the beer opening segment.
Tough.
Which is
Well,
definitely-
now you've recognized it, so there's going to be more cuts.
yes.
So I got there at 9, and there were 5 people that didn't get registered.
Shocker.
Yeah, and then you registered, but it wasn't you weren't actually playing, and then Ant didn't end up. Basically,
Yeah.
there was a whole bunch of was I gonna play? There was one point where Ant was like, "All right, Zach, you don't need to play," and I was like, "Oh, I could have just left," but I was talking with Tan and Paul for a minute or two, and then Ant was he was like, "Oh fuck, Zach, you are gonna have to play," and I was like, "Oh, well, it's good I didn't leave then, because then I would have been gone." But my first game was against Chaos Dwarves. We were orcs.
Orcs, yes.
Yeah.
This tournament was basically 1.2 million with a free skill package. I screwed up and I did 1.2 million with not a free skill package. So we just added a thrower and 2 linemen on there.
Yep.
Whatever. And there is a wild card in the game, which was there's a hungry halfling at the back end of the pitch behind whoever's receiving, and it will move
1 to 2 spaces.
1 to 2 spaces, diagonally or straight ahead, based on a D6 roll, because he is hungry and wants to eat the ball.
Because
And-
last year the ball was a turkey,
Yes,
and so he heard about that, and so he was coming to go get it.
yeah.
Okay.
And I do have to say, it added a pretty interesting kerfuffle in the matches.
Yep.
Quite often. But not too bad, because he's only a halfling, so he only moves his little random movement towards the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's only strength 2.
Yep.
Edge doesn't matter. Armor 6, but he had dodge, jump up, juggernaut, wrestling, or maybe not juggernaut, but he had wrestle and some other stuff. But
Yeah.
he was entertaining, especially because he would move at random and run into players much larger strength than him. And so he would be throwing 3 die uphill against my troll in
Uh-huh.
this example,
Yeah.
who the troll would then immediately casualty out.
So in my game against the Chaos Dwarves,
His name is Mike.
It was
He's
Mike,
He's
yeah.
the guy that organizes the tournaments in Colorado Springs.
gotcha. No, it was a good game. I'm always glad when I play someone who is a good player, but also not a good natured player too.
Uh-huh.
So because
there's some of them that aren't.
yeah,
Yes,
I've heard some that aren't.
No,
So-
I know, it just
Well,
Yeah.
and also the fact that I play this once
Every
twice,
3 months?
Yeah, once every 3 months to 6 months, and I don't and I always Ant was throwing in his halfling stuff, and until I actually saw it on the paper printed out and stuff like that, I was like, I'm not getting anything that he is saying, and so
Yeah.
it was just more of a you're gonna need to tell me what's going on here. But these are both very high armor.
Chaos dwarves on orcs.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of armors just sort of mashing up,
real smushing.
There's a lot of smushing.
We're both armor 9.
Yeah.
He has hobgoblins that I think are 8.
Yes.
Um,
Yep. He was able to get a win, or not a win. Well, he did win, but
but it was close.
Yeah, it was close. He got a point about on his 4th or 5th thing because he was able to split my defense open and then run his centaurs through there.
Bull centaurs.
Yeah, the bull centaurs, and I wasn't able to catch them.
Imagine a centaur, but it's a dwarf instead of a person.
Yes.
so it's like a Shetland pony.
But still very big.
But still centaur size.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, so
Yeah.
the horse part's the same size.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just the body portion's
Yeah.
dwarf size.
Yes.
Just a big old muscular dude
Yeah,
on top.
Okay.
Bull centaurs are one of the better players in the
Yeah.
game because they're like move 6, strength 4, edge 2, armor 9, and they
Yeah.
can get mutations.
Yeah.
And mutations can be a whole wide range of things. Usually like 1+ dodging, 1+ dodging with rerolls, free rerolls on pickups, claw, which turns everyone's armor to 7. I'm not sure he had any mutations in
no.
this, but because they're usually doubles.
Yeah. And so
And his whole team has block and tackle, as
Yeah.
all dwarf teams do.
yeah, right. And so he went to camp out his bull centaur at the right in front of the touchdown line, and
Delay the game.
Yeah, delay the game. And so I just ran up, and then I threw a 2-die uphill, and I was just like, the only thing that I want is obviously 2 pals, which wasn't going to happen, and it was a push, and it was 2 pushes or something like that. And so I just shoved him into the end zone,
Made him score.
to
score.
reset
the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the entire rest of the game was just us hitting each other, and
Nothing happening.
happened. The only other thing of note that happened was that fucking halfling snuck up on one of the black orcs. 2-die uphill, double pow,
Wow.
broke the armor,
Yeah.
and then KO'd him.
Wow.
Jesus.
And I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
That sucks. Good times.
Yeah. And then I tried to bring a whole bunch of people around one of his to foul him.
Mm-hmm.
And so right when I just had to get a 2+ to dodge out of the way, 1 reroll 1. And so I had all these people surrounding him to do the foul, and then I couldn't do that. And so then he immediately, obviously, his team got mad that it looked like I was going to foul his team, so he immediately fouled one of mine and knocked it out.
Great.
Yeah. And yeah, that was pretty much it for me. Lost 1-0.
Yep. Which sent me in round 2 after lunch to one of the bottom tables. I played against Wood Elves. It went very well for me because Wood Elves have armor 7, and I was playing orcs, so I was bashing the crap out of him. I mean, all of his ward answers are blodge, but when I'm throwing, constant 2-die, 3-die,
Right.
his catchers are only strength 2. After I scored, he ran his catchers forward to the sidelines that I then based up with 2 guys on each, and he didn't move them first before he was dodging the rest of his team away, which he failed, a 1 reroll 1, leaving both of them next to 2 orcs.
Oh, no.
I surfed one and sent it to reserves. The other one I was going to surf because they were both in perfect position for me to be able to hit one once and get him to auto surf the next one, which he did on the first one. But on the second one, I rolled a both down and a defender stumbles, the dodge one. But he had dodge, so I was just going to push him back. But something that is rarely used is you can choose not to activate your dodge skill and just take the down to get hit by it.
Gotcha.
Because he didn't want to get surfed.
Yeah.
So I knocked him down, broke his armor, and cast him out anyways.
Well, if they aren't going to do it, then I'll just do it.
Yes. So I knocked out both of his catchers in one blow.
Nice.
Leaving him with just his ward answers. And I mean, Wood Elves are dangerous because they can fucking do a lot because they're high agility, high movement. They all have fucking blodge.
They're fairly capable, like one-turn touchdown team, right?
Very capable with one-turn touchdown. But I wasn't getting a lot of casualties. I think I had one go out because he failed his own dodge, and that's all. Everything else was KOs until the last 2 turns, where I got 5 casualties on fouls and just hitting him. It went real downhill for him. It was going to be a 1-0 win, and I was going to play some. The orcs had seen the elves do some elfy bullshit, so the orcs were going to try it. My rolls to be able to do this were 2+2+, because I needed to move 8, 3+ pass.
Okay.
He had pass block on his star, so his star got to move free spaces. Tagged my black orc, who was going to be catching, which is edge 2, normally a 4+. Now needed a 5, but he had a chance to intercept, which he rolled a 5, needed a 6. The black orc was then able to catch the ball on a reroll on the 5+. Needed a 4+ dodge, which he made. Then he needed to go for it to hand off the ball next to my lineman that was 1 space away from the goal. And then he failed the fucking handoff catch. Rolled a 2.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, so 2+, 2+, 5+ reroll, 4+, 2+, 3+. Failed the 2+. Or failed the 3+ with a 2.
Yeah.
Still won 1-0.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Got the more than 3 casualty bonus on there. Didn't get the more than 2 for the win. We finished on time because I smashed him to the ground. I was fouling so much in that game, and I was not punished for it once. I was not banned once. I was not rolling doubles at all. You get banned if you roll doubles on the injury or the casualty, or the armor or the injury table, and didn't happen.
Nice.
Next game was against Thursby and his undead team. Undead. Not necromantic. Necromantic has werewolves and Frankensteins. Undead has mummies, ghouls, and whites.
Okay.
We didn't care about this game because with both of us, I think we're loss, win-win, and that pretty much gets you, like, you need tie, win-win to even have a possible chance of anything, or all wins. And I think Ant was easily getting all wins, and Paul. Paul was going into against Zach's first opponent in the last round, Amazons on Chaos Dwarves. Amazons are a dodge team. Like dwarves have all block, all tackle. Tackle is the anti-dodge. Paul has all dodge on his team, every single person, and armor 7. So he was going into that knowing he was going to get fucking hammered because Chaos Dwarves are like hard counter Amazons.
Gotcha.
Trashed Mike so bad that he quit by the start of the second half.
Wow.
Conceded. But Paul probably should have made him play out the game because I'm not sure there's really a concede tournament rule, because if you're smashing your opponent, those are all extra points that are going to give you that 3 to 8 point advantage for first place.
Yeah.
So he probably should have made him play it out, or it's just be like, all right, if you want to just pass turns, I'm just going to take this and just fucking goal. But he took the concede. My game also went unpunished against Thursby. Both of us neither really cared about the game. I was doing a bunch of stupid things, so it didn't matter if I won or lost because I wasn't going to get anything out of this tournament. But all of my rolls went unpunished. Like, all of my 1 dies were all POWs. I wasn't rolling double skulls, and he was. I was fouling like crazy and not getting banned. I fouled out his fucking mummy on one of them. Didn't regen. Got his ghoul out, one of his ghouls. He was he was trying, but I was just rolling like God. So that's not gonna help him with anything.
Okay.
So I just started jumping on his undead heads with my orc team, and ended up winning that one 2-0.
Nice.
I think it was like 3-2 casualties, but most of his KO box was very, very full. But the halfling was a fun part of the tournament. That little bit of randomness in there, because he would always because he still had a tackle zone, so he would sort of move to but now he was like on someone. At one point, my thrower was between like a ghoul and the halfling. I was pinned between the two. But the halfling never got assists from like his team on any blocks, so I just blitzed him off with like a 3 die, which was triple push followed by triple push with the reroll.
Okay.
So I did end up having to dodge away, but made that. So yeah,
Right on.
Paul came down and sat and watched after his game was over early, and apparently he's my good luck charm, unless I'm playing against him, and then I roll like trash.
Well, you're trying to beat your good luck charm, and the good luck charm doesn't like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I absolutely trounced Thursby in that game.
Sorry, Thursby.
Yeah.
Cool.
No idea what place I got, but Ann will post the full-on tournament lists here pretty soon. Rich, a longtime league player, won the Cairnstone with possibly Tom Photos in second. For
Okay.
that.
Do you have a rough idea where you placed?
In the tournaments?
Yeah.
Probably very low because Team Zaf doesn't really count.
Yeah.
I would have to be playing like full regular tournaments for that.
Oh, I thought like he was letting Zach just sit in for you for the first game.
No,
Like,
it is
playing
not.
your
It is not
team.
under my like league thing. Like I put my NAF number in, but so it'll count for my like NAF tournament statistics. But I do not count towards like the full end of year stuff.
Yeah, when Jeff was still playing, then like Ant just made up one for me to just be as a one-off sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
it was his like off tournament. It's basically Ant's other account.
Yeah. Okay. So when you were saying Rich is like the like that's for the season.
The
season.
year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
the
that were, I thought you
tournament,
were
the
talking
tournament
about the
season.
tournament.
The
Okay.
tournament season. League still going.
mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The Cairnstone is for the tournament year end winner, and then we have the league championship. Last round coming started today, so
Okay. Cool.
I'm definitely getting in the playoffs, and don't think I'm going to possibly go below 3rd seed, which means I get a bye week.
Nice.
Right on. Cool. Well, that
So it'll be Vaults 1 versus Vaults 2 this next couple weeks. We'll see how that goes. Nurgle, peak Season 3 Nurgle, just like I played peak Season 2 Nurgle last time.
okay.
So we'll see how it goes. He thankfully tied his last game, so I think I have a pretty good chance of keeping number 1 seed.
Well, there you
Nice.
go.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that wraps up the bloody 3 to 4 minutes. And we can move on to some news and Kickstarters.
First up in news, we're going to conventions.
Woo! Yeah, I guess we haven't really announced that on the show at all. It's
Nope.
all been in Slack channel.
Yes, it has.
Yep.
Yeah.
So up first is Zach.
This person that I'm pointing at, that's me. I'm going to BGG Con this today. I mean, Wednesday is when I'm
He'll be
flying out.
on his way.
Yeah.
As you're listening to the podcast, he's on his way to
Exactly.
Dallas.
BGG Con.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
I mean, I hope I will.
I mean the Dallas portion of that. I'm sure you'll have fun at BGG Con. Also, like, hanging out with Boyd, like, have fun with that.
Boyd and Ofer, and at some
Oh,
point,
yeah, have fun
Paul,
with that,
and-
too.
Yeah, so
Paul will be there.
Lance will be there.
Only thing I know is there's going to be, like, packages of mine that are being handled all over BGG Con.
Yeah, pretty much. Passing from person to person.
Yeah.
Probably at least one. We'll try and find one random person. Hey, can you just handle this real quick, please? Thank you.
Yes.
You have to do, like, there was some BGG Con a while back where somebody couldn't make it, and I saw, like, their friends made, like, a little cutout of them and went around, like, to, like, all the famous people and had them take pictures with them. And it was like, look at all these people you met. But they didn't really. You need to do that with my package.
No.
Just scary picture of my package around.
No, definitely not doing that.
No.
And then after me is Jeff.
Yes, I will be at PAX Unplugged, working for Fantasy Flight, demoing games.
Yeah.
I've never been to PAX Unplugged. I have very little idea what it is.
It's a board game convention run by PAX.
Yep. It's apparently very popular.
It is, yes, growing rapidly in popularity.
Yeah. But I'll be
The first year, it was the same weekend as BGG
Correct.
Con. They wisely changed
yeah.
that.
So yeah,
That's 2 weeks off now
Yes, it'll be the weekend after Thanksgiving.
instead of the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yes. So yeah, I'll be working with Fantasy Flight, doing the demo thing. I'm going to be demoing Starfarers, Journeys Through Middle Earth, and Arkham Horror Final Hour.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
And then seeing whatever the fuck is around PAX Unplugged on top of that. Yeah.
Thumbs up.
We'll see how it compares to the Geekway.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be more of a convention for gaming, like BGG Con,
Right.
and not so much an industry thing.
Yeah, I'm actually
I think
very jealous that you guys both got to do Geekway this year, and then now you are, between the two of you, both getting to do BGG Con and PAX Unplugged, and I'm doing no conventions.
No, but
in
you are
2019.
But you are going to Japan.
Yes.
To snowboard.
And I am in the early stages of starting to plan an Essen 2020 trip.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, Germany. So, conventions for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully next fall.
Yeah. I'll try and eat somewhere in Philadelphia at least once, because I have to have a cheesesteak, I guess.
Yeah, you should get some cream cheese there, man. I've heard it's great.
I mean, I'm sure it's on sale after all of the Thanksgiving baking.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Get it real cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the opening part of news, is that there's news that we're going to be at those two conventions. So if you're
Yeah.
also going to be at those conventions, reach out to us through any of the myriad ways that you can get a hold of us.
I'll stumble through a
And-
game of Starfarers demo with you.
Yeah. I'm really curious to hear about Starfarers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there all 3 days, through Thursday through Sunday. I have a Google Drive with like literally every one of Fantasy Flight's rulebooks on it right now.
Nice.
Awesome. So cool.
I'll rub some elbows with Fantasy Flight people, I guess.
There you go.
And both of them will have badge ribbons for Mile High Game guys there.
Uh-huh.
And that will be mainly it because we're running desperately low on other swag.
Yeah.
But we'll try and get some more ordered for next year's convention circuit.
Woo.
2020 is the year of Mile High Game guys. I feel it in my bones.
Year 4.
in my package.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to our actual news things.
First up in actual news, Gloomhaven subtitle no longer. It is now Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion?
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, we talked about this a little while ago, that Isaac had done a blog post talking about like all of the things he'd been meaning to update people on with Gloomhaven, and one of them was a simpler, lighter intro to Gloomhaven game that was Gloomhaven subtitle. And now the subtitle is Jaws of the Lion. So the update here is real quick, as he talked about before. He's mainly just like, hey, I've picked a name. And so he says that here they figured it out for a little while. And ultimately, the Jaws of the Lion refers to the specific mercenary group that you will be playing as. So the group you're a part of are the Jaws of the Lion, and they're based out of the Sleeping Lion Inn. And they also here introduced the Void Warden, which is one of the new characters in the base set there. So it's not a spoiler. It's just a base character.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like unlockable
I don't think
heroes
so
or
in this
anything
one.
like
It's
that in
really
this.
straightforward intro to kind of
A more entry-level Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's your little bit of Gloomhaven subtitle update.
Yes.
Now, no longer Gloomhaven subtitle, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Really like that cover. That's a sweet cover.
Yep.
Next up on news.
Next up on news, Catan World Explorers, a digital game has been announced. It looks to be an augmented reality app Catan game.
Yeah, and this is where I officially announced my retirement from all things board games because they have jumped the fucking shark. like I don't know who wanted this? Who thought this was something that people might want? How is this even going to work? Like none of it makes any sense to me. So like the picture they have shows like roads and houses and cities like scattered about the terrain. And like they have the little phone there that has like a hex with a city on it.
I mean, it looks a lot more like Pokemon Go,
Right.
or the Harry Potter game,
Which are huge IPs that attract tons of people. Like I can't imagine people are real excited to start running around their town collecting wheat
I mean,
to trade for sheep in Catan.
I'll just say, I feel like I've seen a lot of shirts that are like wood for sheep or sheep. I've seen a lot of.
I mean, it's a very popular board game.
Yes.
But it's not Harry Potter or Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't imagine there actually being much of a market for people running around doing this. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But yeah, you're collecting the resources and then constructing roads and cities, and you have to trade with people, and you can get victory points and then compete local and globally. So
it looks like Catan Pokemon World Go.
Yeah. It makes no sense to me and seems super bizarre that this was a thing where somebody somewhere was like, we should do this.
That thing makes money. Let's make money like that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how the world works.
Yep.
We have an IP we can throw at a stupid augmented reality game.
Yep.
See
If there's even
sticks.
any augmented reality in there. I don't know what you call Pokemon Go or Harry Potter World where you have to go places.
I mean, I think they're considered augmented reality games because you have to interact with real world locations.
But through the phone, it looks like they are there if you're, obviously.
And you could turn on the, so where you hold up your phone and it looks like the thing. Yeah. Which I've never done because it's never worked for anything. Especially because I'm usually wanting to look down. I don't want to play where's the Pokemon? There it is. No. I got real tired of Pokemon real fast and I said fuck off to Harry Potter. Even though I really like Harry Potter. But anyway, that's Catan World Explorers, which I will also say fuck off to.
Yep.
So, next up on news.
Fantasy Flight has a new Fallout game coming out based off of the popular Fallout Shelter app.
Indeed, they do. So, in the app and in the board game, you're going to take on the role of the overseer of a vault. And you're going to be basically trying to manage your population, give them, food and clothing and weapons and energy and water and all of that stuff. And in the board game, you're competing with other overseers to see who can best manage a little vault.
Your various officers trying to get elected as overseer.
See? Oh, yeah. I missed a line there.
Yep.
I thought it was very much similar to the app, and it's not.
No.
So,
because there's
in that regard,
yeah,
because it's
the role you take is different.
It's because you're competing, so
so
you can't just already be the overseer.
Well, you could still be competing for best overseer. That seems like a competition Vault Tech would have set up.
Only one overseer.
Yeah, there's only one.
No, there's the overseer in each vault.
But this is all the same vault.
Yeah, it's only one vault.
I mean, I could have very easily seen it being a game though, where you each run your own vault and see who runs their vault the best, because it also would fit the world, like Vault Tech doing stupid experiments and being like, you're competing to run the best vault, overseers.
Nope.
But you are competing for happiness.
Yes. So you're still trying to keep your people happy so that they will elect you as the new overseer since the old overseer is dead. So you assign your dwellers to different tasks, manage resources, and keep people safe from threats. And whoever can inspire the most happiness will win and become the new overseer. Yeah. So it's a little worker placement game similar to the app. There are different little rooms that have spots where you can put your workers, and then there's sometimes costs associated with them, and you get a reward, and the reward is usually some kind of happiness. Can be resources and things that you'll spend elsewhere, but ultimately you're trying to amass the most happiness to get elected. So
the real question is, how are they going to mesh microtransactions into this game?
I gotta buy something in a lunchbox.
Yeah.
Don't know how they're going to manage to do that. Probably small little packs that you could buy, like card packs that are just a new room, or a small box that's a new model of the dwellers that don't actually change the game at all. It's just a new skin for your dwellers.
It seems like each of you will run a floor in the vault. So there's 4 different floors if you have 4 players. So you do kind of run your own little level.
Okay.
Gotcha. I mean, and they even have a mat for it too that you can get, and it looks big.
Yeah, and it's the exact look as the app.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll have your weird pet companions and items and stuff like that. Basically the DLC microtransaction bait that they ended up throwing into that game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It looks better than the other Fallout game, at least.
70s. Oh, the other Fallout board game? Yeah. Wow.
That we haven't played yet, but
yeah.
$40.
Indeed. So check that out if that sounds interesting to you. I liked the app, but I'm not super interested in the
board game version of
board
that.
game version of it. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Fallout Shelter, the board game, that wraps that up. Next up on news.
Alexa can now teach you Ticket to Ride by saying, Alexa, launch Ticket to Ride, or Ticket to Ride Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it'll teach you the game.
Yeah, it takes you on a guided journey from setup to the end of the game. So you can, it does everything. it has full like walkthroughs of like how to play, like learn to plays, and then veterans can skip the walkthroughs and use other helpful tools. The skills customize themselves to the number of players and track the remaining trains, longest route, things like that. It can also act as an additional player. So
like you read the tickets off to Alexa and it knows which routes it has.
Yeah.
And so Ticket to Ride Europe are 2 new skills you can download on your Alexa, apparently. So I have one. And I guess now if Megan and I buy Ticket to Ride, we can play it with our Alexa as a 3-player game.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but...
How would you feel when you lose?
I will not appreciate when I lose to Alexa.
Alexa, go fuck yourself.
She doesn't respond to that, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of interesting, but also kind of like, again, who was like, this is the thing we need?
I mean, Alexa has a bunch of games and stuff you can play. It even has like adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I get some of that stuff. Like, I get why Amazon's putting games on there, but I don't get why they were like, we should make the jump to board games.
You know, tabletop games, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's spy on people while they play those games.
I mean, I like the idea at least of it being able to teach you.
Yeah.
Like a game, that's cool.
Yeah. Hey, Alexa, teach us Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
Or if you're just a solo player, you can't play Ticket to Ride solo, can you?
I don't think it has a solo mode.
Well, now you can with your best friend Alexa.
God, kill me now if that ever becomes my life where I'm devolved to playing.
Yeah, maybe you're stuck in a vault somewhere
Yeah.
where you only have one yourself in a big bucket of puppets
And an internet clinic connected.
and an Alexa.
Yeah,
it's the Amazon server farm vault.
May thinks there's a case for a detective on Alexa as well,
yeah.
which I don't know about, but maybe. So yeah,
That seems neat.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with them at least doing something.
it's nifty. It seems like especially for it to be. I mean, I guess Ticket to Ride's a very popular intro game. So yeah. So Alexa can teach you Ticket to Ride.
Woo.
And that concludes news.
First up in Kickstarter this week is Namigi, the next chapter in the Tokaido universe. Very well funded, $255,000 of its $55,000 goal. 3,700 backers. Still a week left to pledge this one. Its most popular pledge being $67. It's one and only pledge, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in Namigi, you're taking to the sea instead of walking along Japan. It is still designed by Antoine Bauza and set in the Tokaido universe, with art still from Nayade, I think. Sure.
Why not?
But you're traveling along now through the archipelago instead of along the main island, like you did in Tokaido.
Right.
So all the same, like beautiful art and everything. Like I said, same artist. Plays 2 to 5 players, 30 to 45 minutes. And yeah, you're now traveling along an archipelago in a very similar style game. It's completely standalone.
Bunch of Kickstarter exclusives.
Yeah. I have never played even Tokaido, so...
Nor
Really?
have I.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can make that happen for you, Jeff.
Okay.
Not for me.
I mean, you can try it if you want. I've got it. I've got, I think, both the expansions for it too. Some of the minis, metal money for it, so.
Gotcha.
You can also get the Deluxe Tokaido 5th Anniversary as an add-on to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I assume has fancy pieces, much like this one does.
It does, yes.
So you got fancy pre-painted player boat minis, and then my favorite thing are the little offering minis, which are like made to look like little floating paper boats.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of it, but also just
Probably
adorable.
Less murder clown.
Less clown murder, hopefully. I don't know. There's like a swirl.
I mean, there wasn't clown murder.
There
It was a murder clown.
It was clown murder because the clown committed murder. Clown murder.
I feel like that's your murdering clowns.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be both.
A murder clown doing clown murder?
Yeah, a murder clown murder.
So that was in Joker, right?
So it also includes an oversized board, which I don't. If they only have one size of board, then isn't that just the size? It's not oversized.
I'm sure there will be another edition that's not deluxe
because
that will have a
Kickstarter
regular
exclusive oversized board.
Yeah.
Okay. Player boards, acrylic tokens, bunch of cards, things like that. I have not played Tokaido, but I know it's a game that is beautiful and has a lot of really great components, especially with some of the fancier editions. And looks like they are definitely keeping that tradition running with Namigi. like Jeff said, some optional buys like the deluxe Tokaido.
Yeah, which probably hasn't been available, I would assume, for quite some time.
Yeah, some expansions and add-ons if you already have Tokaido and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Bunch of stretch goals, things like that. So yeah, if you're interested in more in the Tokaido universe, because everything has a universe now, but in the Tokaido universe, we now have Namigi.
The Tokaido cinematic universe.
Yes.
Coming soon.
It is the designer edition, is the Kickstarter.
Yes.
So there will probably be a retail edition at some point.
Yeah, but this one is $67.
Yep.
So go check it out if that sounds good to you. Namigi. Next up on Kickstarter.
Next up on Kickstarter, we have Loot of Lima. Well funded, $26,000 of its $10,000 goal. Just about 800 backers. 3 weeks left for this one, and you can back this one for $29.
Yeah. So in Loot of Lima, you are trying to treasure hunt through the jungle. Zach, you're backing this, so I assume you've looked at it a little bit more than I had a chance to. So do you want to run with this one?
And this is from Table Toppers, or they did QE and
board game tables.
Board game tables.
Yes. So I haven't looked a whole lot into it yet, but it's basically you are trying to hunt for treasure. You have this cool, like your own player board or player screen that has the map, and you have like these tokens. It's double-sided, so you can actually like put tokens in there.
It's a multiplayer deduction puzzle.
Yes, it is. So there's basically these clock hands in the center of the map that you can move around, and then when you're rolling these dice, and you're basically trying to, you're asking somebody what, like if they have stuff. I didn't
coordinates.
I didn't look at. Yeah, you just shove it on me like that, Adrian. That's not how Kickstarter works. I just sort of
we shove it on you.
You shove it on you, man.
I mean, that does happen a lot. Yeah, I don't know. The components look really cool. The player boards that are interactive, where you can put things in the different spots, is kind of interesting. Up at the top, they compared it to Clue, where you're trying to figure out like the who, what, where. Only this is who, where, and how. Which I guess is also Clue. Using the coordinate system with that clock to try to figure out which different spots are on the island. And because it's supposedly a much harder thing. You're overall looking for a buried treasure.
Yes,
so you're all competing to find the buried treasure.
Because there are a bunch of tokens out that everybody has. 2 of them were removed from the box, or removed from here and put in back the box, and you're basically trying to figure out what everybody doesn't have, right? Those 2 tokens. And so an amount of those tokens are split evenly among all the other people, and they have them on their board, and you're trying to figure out like what you have and stuff like that. So
yeah,
and then you're rolling dice, and then you can ask people next to you.
Yeah, the dice have the different regions on them. So like north, south, east, west, northeast, southeast.
Of the different terrain types,
yes.
The shore, forest, or mountain.
Yeah, so you pick 2 of the dice and use them to ask another player, which they don't in this little bit here explain exactly how that works. But I'm going to assume that you say like, what do you have in a south? Like you pick one of them for the direction and one of them for the terrain. Is how I would assume that would work.
Basically,
especially looking down at the player screens and how they're laid out with the locations.
Yeah, well, it's like you have say it's going from north to like southwest. Like you move the arrows there, and you're basically saying how much do you have on like one side of it or on the other side of it.
Oh,
and then your player screens are actually dual layered, so you're putting in those little tokens on your board for
that will help you determine like what is where so far.
Yeah,
but you can also ask if you roll 2 dice of the same suit. So you roll 2 green or 2 blue or anything like that. You can be like, how many of those tokens do you have in just that one type?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sharpened pencils come with the game and have erasers.
Yes, they do.
Let's hope the erasers are better than cartographers.
Almost certainly not. But yeah, I don't know. I think this one looks pretty cool. I hope you stick with it, Zach, because I'm probably not going to back it myself. But,
right.
I would like to try it. I like deduction games.
Yeah.
Boardgame tables it came out with that QE. That was pretty good.
I played they did on tour too,
which you played at Gen Con.
Yeah, which was fun.
Which they mentioned earlier in this that it was a thing where like they played it and they were like, this needs to like be done really nice. And I know like QE is a game that's existed through multiple versions before they were finally like, we're going to do this like nice.
Oh, they can do stuff real nice. That is very true.
Well, they make a lot of money on those tables. So
yeah, and you can actually back all of their games for $150.
Yeah.
On tour, Loot of Lima, QE, and Bites, which I have not seen that one.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Bites. So, Estimated delivery in July 2020, and shipping here in the U.S. only $4, which is pretty reasonable, actually.
Yeah.
So that is Loot of Lima. So last up on Kickstarters is
DEI, Divide et Impera. Very well funded, $234,000 of its $94,000 goal, just under 1,900 backers, and just over a week to go, of which it will cost you $132.
Yep.
That's a
So
lot.
Yep.
yeah, it's expensive. I almost could say it's $100 miniature game of the week.
Sure is.
Which the $100 is at least $100 miniature game of the week.
Which
is
most
the
of
way
them
that is
are
phrased.
going well above $100
Yes,
at
they
this
are.
point.
Yeah, everybody wants it to go back to the $100 miniature games. Anyhow, so Divided Emperor is a competitive game. It takes 90 minutes, plays 2 to 4 players, and it is set in a post-apocalyptic new Ice Age future. Which, yes, please give me Ice Age apocalypse, not global warming apocalypse. But basically, you take on the role of a leader of one of 4 factions, and you compete for territory and resources across this frickin' sweet, 3-layer, 3D board. So it's supposed to be like a ruined city, and you can go up on rooftops and stuff, and you're actually up above, which I think looks really cool. So it's 3D map, and each faction's going to play a little bit different moving across it, which I didn't really look into the faction, so I'm just going to kind of move past them. But they are all unique and play different ways. There's a drone faction, and there's a sniper faction.
They all look pretty post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the really kind of cool thing, it seems like, is definitely this board, and then the way you use. So each faction has their own little faction deck, and you play cards out of your hand there to do different moves and things. I'm trying to find. I looked at this last week, and then we didn't do Kickstarters last week, and now I don't remember where in this massively huge Kickstarter they had the little diagram that kind of walked through.
I would say all the way at the end.
Sit way down there at the end. Yeah, there we go. You play these cards, and they'll have various symbols that will determine what you can do. And so you can use one of the 2 symbols. You can use one to move, and then one to grab resources and things like that. You can lay bridges to cross gaps in the buildings and things. And there's all kinds of fighting with, again, different cards can boost your combat abilities and help you fight, groups that might be bigger than you. Some groups, like the robot group, have drones and things that they can fly around and attack people with. It seems probably it's going to be a complete mess of actual gameplay mechanics, like almost all of these $100 miniatures are. But this one at least seems to try to do something cool and interesting with the 3D terrain and moving around a city and actually making it feel like it's a city, and you can go up and do things all around, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The minis are all renders, so I can't tell if they some of them look really cool. There's some big mech minis and stuff. I don't know. I thought it looked kind of interesting, at least from a components and in theory game design, but don't know how interesting the actual gameplay will end up being.
Yeah.
But
That's always the risk you have with these.
Yeah, it seems more like a skirmish game.
yeah,
It's not like your usual crazy campaign 4X thing. It's like fighting over a city.
yeah,
One thing I do like is some of these extra things you can buy. They have these faction crates.
yeah. They're an actual little cool crate that seems like it fits the apocalypse, and you open it up and it's got all your faction stuff in it.
Yeah.
So if you want to spend even more money,
Yeah. But then you don't have to use a bag like a fool.
bags are for chumps.
Yeah.
Except there's a ton of extra factions. So I mean, the base game has 4, but there's a ton of extra factions. So it's now you need 8 of them.
Yeah.
We'll just get 8 of them then.
Yeah, that's only a lot.
You don't you don't get into these games to save money.
No,
You
This
get
is
into these to
spend money.
Yeah, to spend it.
The leader pledge, which is their big one, has a lot of really cool stuff. It's got a Big Ben tile that has Big Ben just in the middle of the tile. It's got the bridge that is both ends of London Bridge. That's pretty great. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get it because as I was talking about at the beginning of this podcast, would like to buy $1,000 in snowboard gear before my trip to Japan. So I definitely don't have another $132 to throw to Kickstarter right now.
Yeah.
Just don't spend $132 in Japan. It'll be fine. I'm sure Megan will understand.
I mean, she won't give a shit.
You could probably get one 18XX for this price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's DEI, Divide et Impera. if you want to go check out a really expensive miniature game full of a bunch of crazy stuff and an interesting 3D terrain mechanic. So that wraps up news and Kickstarter. All done.
Yes.
Which moves us over to some listener feedback. Unfortunately, there are apparently no new emails over at our email address, which is
emails@milehighgameguys.com.
However, there is some listener feedback over on our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731.
Yeah, these are from our Tapestry review,
which just came out this last Friday.
Yes, it did. This first one is from Calgary Jeff.
Hooray! Canada Jeff.
Canada Jeff. Hey guys, have you taken a look at the Tapestry game result data thread here on BGG? It's pretty interesting to see the recorded scores and such, and wondering what you guys think about the apparent discrepancy between the civilizations. Do you think the different civilizations are unbalanced? Or is there a case of perceived balance and some are likely easier to play than others? I know we talked about this.
Yeah, so we covered that pretty extensively in the review.
Yeah.
I think on the extreme ends of that, there's definitely an imbalance.
Yes.
Like the futurists are definitely overpowerful, and whatever that other shitty one
Traders
is underpowered.
I would say there's like 4 top ones and like 3 bottom ones with like 9 middle of the road ones in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel like most of the, like, I feel like there's like maybe 2 on each end that are like very clearly, but then even the other ones of those like 4 and 3 or whatever are close enough.
But there is a lot more negatives than there are positives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, like with, I talked about it in the review episode, like I think that data set is interesting, but not anything that I'd want to base real like decisions off of, because there's no controlling for literally anything in that data set. It's just, hey, self-report your plays and your scores, and no accounting for skill levels or playing correctly or any of that.
But Jamie Stegmeyer did post his survey data that he's been doing, and it did very much line up with what this guy was doing.
Yeah,
as well.
Jamie's doing literally the exact same thing. Self-report on my website.
But unfortunately, like I think like that's pretty much all the only type of data you're really going to get from this.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why it's important to do your like a lot of like rigorous play for a game like this. In theory, you would ideally do a lot of rigorous play testing as the designer in a more controlled situation. Have known play testers that you can trust to play the game right, that can communicate with you, how their games went, and that you can have at least a little bit more control over the data set. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And, we would assume that he did that and then still release this game like this.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much play testing Jamie does.
I would only assume he does a fair amount.
He does. Yes. I'm sure he does some, but there are.
I'm sure he has a blog post about it.
more than likely.
All right. Jeff Engelstein, he continues with Jeff Engelstein had a short topic discussion on the perceived balance issues with the Expanse game, IRC.
If I recall correctly.
There we go. If I recall correctly, he stood by his playtesting data that the factions were balanced, but conceded that the OPA and the Protogen Corporation weren't as straightforward as Earth and Mars, and likely lead people to think that they were unbalanced. And he pondered whether true balance or perceived balance are more important in an environment where people don't play games that many times. I'm sure that's the perceived, like, I'm sure that there are some factions that are just harder to, or not as straightforward, just like that. And so, like the futurists, that's one of the good things about them is that you just play them like normal, because you just start like one up on everything and then you just go from there.
Right.
So
I remember reading a thing a while back that talked about that with things that would like do random generators, and like people don't understand how random actually works. So like when they get like a sequence or like a grouping of numbers, and they're like, that's not random.
Yeah.
And so like there's things, and I don't remember what it was specifically in reference to. I feel like I was talking about it with one of you guys.
I mean,
maybe it was on Slack, but like, so things have had to tweak randomness generators to make them not random so that people perceive them as random.
Hell, that's why like technically Mount Everest is like however so tall, but like it's like it ends with like 900 feet. And people like they added like a 1 or subtracted a little bit because people will be like, oh, they're just estimating it. And it's like, no, it just happens to be exactly that tall.
Right.
And also we just are real bad at random stuff.
29,029 feet.
Yep. So that's what they moved it to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that is part of this. You know, like people get an idea in their head about something. And then especially with the way confirmation bias works, you know, you play a game and Futurist stomps your face, and then everything you see that says Futurists are unbalanced, you're like, yeah, that tracks with my experiences where they stomped my face.
Well, and I think part of it is that you can't, like a lot of games that have different factions, you tend to be able to self-balance, like in Root or some of those other ones.
Yeah, we were talking about that on Slack.
Yeah, which you can't do in this one.
No.
Because there's really no way to for me to affect most of what you're doing.
No, there's zero meaningful interaction.
So
yeah, even the Tapestry cards are just like, when you do things, I get a benefit, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I do think there's some of that, and Expanse is a good example of a game where there is a little bit of self-balancing. Like you can do more to actively like hold somebody back who's getting ahead.
Yeah.
You know, and imbalance isn't a bad thing as long as it is something that there's ways to address it. Like, you know, Twilight Struggle has a bunch of imbalance to the point where, like, in tournaments and stuff, you know, there's point balances of like, you know, okay, you get to be Russia, well, then I get 3 points.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Right on. That is all of the BGG comments.
Yes, it is.
No new YouTube comments either, probably because Paulo got to BGG before.
Came over to my side.
I mean, he posted on Thursday. The episode wasn't out yet. This is definitely him responding to the BGG thread, which he has a precedent of doing both.
Yep.
So let's not pretend like you've stolen Paulo, Zach.
I'm just saying he's had 3 whole days to respond and he hasn't. So
it's the weekend. It's the freaking weekend, baby.
So he has plenty of free time.
So that wraps up listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, you can do so in a multitude of different ways. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can follow us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
If you want to get in on some of the small jokes that make it through the editing thing where we interact with chat, you can follow us over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys, where you can see us stream these Wednesday episodes completely unedited. You get all of the stuff that gets cut, including this particular episode. There was a lot of stuff like that. So you can still jump over to that Twitch channel and actually watch it after the fact if you want to. You can also see me talk with my hands a lot because that's a thing I do.
So often. It's one nice thing that you're dealing with that. So you always have you have one hand on the mouse at least.
You can see me stare down at paper you can't see and a timer for all of these cuts that we have to make all the time.
Indeed. It's great content. But yeah, all of that's happening over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, both /MileHighGameGuys. And you can jump over to our website, milehighgameguys.com, where there are links to the show notes that include links to all the news items we talk about, the Kickstarters we look at, all of that stuff. You can follow along over there in the show notes on milehighgameguys.com. Also, in all of those show notes, we have links to a variety of other ways to get a hold of us, like our BGG Guild number 2731, where Zach keeps the calendar up to date with streams that we have planned out when we have them planned out, as well as still doing episode posts like the one for Tapestry, where we heard the feedback today from. You can participate in all of that over there. There's also a link to our Slack channel, which is getting more and more people every day. 2 new people joined during this stream to the Slack channel. So more and more people to talk about all kinds of random things. And we need more people in the Slack channel, especially people who don't have anything to do on Saturdays and Sundays, so they can talk to me while I'm bored at work for 12 hours a day. Because apparently everybody who's in the Slack channel right now actually does things on the weekends that isn't Slack. And so then I'm sitting at work like, man, I got a lot of Slack time right now, and nobody's talking. So
once again, it's that secret channel. It's just buzzing.
It's called Blood Bowl.
You would think it's the only channel that I know of that I'm not in on our entire Slack is the Blood Bowl channel. But yeah. And then if you wanted to support the show financially, you could do so by either subscribing to that Twitch channel we mentioned earlier. You can do that with your actual monies, or if you have an Amazon account, you get an Amazon Prime account. You get 1 Twitch Prime subscription each month that must be renewed each month. But you can use that for a month or 2 or 3 or however often you want to renew it to throw $2.50 at us, because that's
free money.
That's the share that we get out of a Twitch Prime sub, is $2.50.
I like money.
I like money as well. And then if you want to give more directly to us, as in directly to us, you can do that through our Patreon, patreon.com/milehighgameguys. We got a few different tiers over there where you can pledge whatever you're comfortable with. And we appreciate all of the support. That's how we're doing these streams. And we have mics and a big new table and studio and all of that. And more upgrades planned for the future. But yeah, so more good stuff coming. And then we've got plans for, new merch. Hopefully we're working on some new things, getting some ideas for whether we want to switch up our design at all, what we want to put it on, pint glasses, beer koozies, beanies, hats, visors, deep V t-shirts.
Oh, no.
No.
Definitely going to get a deep V made and send it to Ofer.
Nice.
Like deep V.
What you do is you get a regular t-shirt, but then you have a print of a
deep V. But yeah, all of those different ways to support the show if you want to. And we certainly appreciate the support because it lets us do awesome things for the show. But yeah, plenty of ways to get a hold of us. Thanks everybody who watched the stream. Thanks everybody who's listening to the podcast. We do appreciate all of you who just even participate in any way, shape, or form with the show. That's why we do this whole thing, is for you, our fans. We would also like to take a second to thank our sponsors, as we do every Wednesday. Gray Fox Games, they're our sponsors, and they sponsor us. Their latest game, Reavers of Midgard, has been shipping out to people, and more people are getting it. From what I hear, it's a pretty good game. Overall.
I haven't heard much yet.
Yeah.
I have heard one thing.
Yeah. Slight issue stuff, but it's...
Which Gray Fox is working on addressing.
I hopefully.
Yeah.
Last I heard, it was just sort of sorry.
So the cards have been a sorry. The game trays are a we're working on that. So that things didn't match actual prototypes.
The cards aren't going to be linen finish.
Yeah.
No.
Which
that's a bummer.
I mean, they're still like 300 GSM. I don't know. I haven't played with them, so I don't know I don't know how they feel. Linen finish I've noticed is like, it stands out to me when it's like a rule book or something.
But
I don't notice as much on cards.
Yeah.
So
what about when you sleeve the cards? Do you feel the linen finish?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see when we get our hands on a copy.
Yeah.
Just how much of a difference it really is.
Yeah. We'll print our own
linen finished
cards so we can compare them side by side.
No, we're not going to do that.
We're definitely not going to do that. That's far too thorough for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you backed Reavers of Midgard, you should be getting your copy soon if you haven't already. And I'm
surprised
sure
it took this long after Gen Con release.
Yeah. That
I enjoyed my 2-round demo.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jeff, do you have a prepared statement regarding our sponsors?
As is tradition, Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, even if a piece becomes a queen, it is still just a playing piece.
Ooh, that one was one of the deeper ones you've done.
It's from Solid as Snake. He was president.
Yes, he was.
President Johnson.
As somebody who's not actually played these games, learning that there was somebody who was a snake who made it to president.
He was the one that actually got like all the superior genes or something
like
that.
Something like that.
The
true clone of Big Boss.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a 1-to-1 clone and not just kind of like
picking and choosing, like liquid and solid.
Yep.
Hence solidus.
Which is a part solid, part liquid.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a state of matter.
It's a state of mind.
Yeah.
Nothing about Metal Gear makes any sense to me.
It's not supposed to.
He's real off the rails in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Wait, is Death Stranding in
Yes,
Kojima? No, it's Kojima game.
Oh,
yeah.
Kojima made all the Metal Gears.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that wraps everything up. So
Yes.
I'm gonna put a fork in it. It's well and truly done. Thanks everybody for listening and watching again. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Philly Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table. pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.